Yes, this is the Super Sunday, and I'm very sure if you watch the Premier League, the game between Manchester United and Arsenal that is played in this opening game week surely has to be the biggest game of the game week. And this is a very short video, so we will quickly talk about that. But before we get into that, let's talk about a game that was played earlier, talking about the game between Chelsea and Crystal Palace. Chelsea fans, what do you think about that game? What do you think about the performance of the squad? Yeah, I would like to know what Chelsea fans think about it because they ended up playing that game without scoring a single goal. Now, something they could take away from this game is that they also did not concede a goal. So the game ended as a goalless draw and the points were shared by both sides. But this could have easily gone a different way. Do recall that a free kick was scored by Eze. Yes, he played a very fabulous free kick and he scored, but VAR got involved. And that is another interesting question that needs to be asked about that game. Is there a foul there? Do you think the goal should have been disallowed? I would like to know what you also think about that, because from this first game week alone, we've seen the VAR get involved in certain decisions and there is a mixed feeling about its involvement. So for this particular game, it ended as a goalless draw. Eze scored a goal, which seriously asks a very important question about the goalkeeping department of Chelsea. Chelsea, I know you guys want to win something, especially after winning the Club World Cup. You guys want to make efforts towards winning something serious this season. But I will say it, if you are going to win something, you can't have Sanchez as your number one goalkeeper. Seriously, I've watched this guy in recent years in several games and he's not good enough. Yes, he's not good enough to be your number one goalkeeper. If you want, change him. If you don't want, leave him there. But one thing you can take away from that free kick that was conceded, despite the fact that the goal did not count, a first choice goalkeeper for Chelsea should be saving that every day. Yes, and as for Eze, he had a very decent game, and this may actually be the last time we will be seeing him as a Crystal Palace player, because just before this game, the information about him making a move to another club became a lot more serious, and we understand that Thomas Frank really wants him in Tottenham. He's also quite interested in making that move to Tottenham, so this may well be the final time we'll be seeing him as a Crystal Palace player. You saw what Tottenham did. You saw their game. They played, was it not 3-0 or 4-0? Yeah, something like that. They played really well. Kudus is firing on all cylinder for them. Imagine they add someone like Eze in that squad. It's going to be interesting. So that's it on that particular one. Chelsea actually created a lot of chances. They did very well attacking wise, but the final product was just not showing. They created a couple of chances, and a big shout out, honorable mention, Estavio, this new lad. He came in today, I believe he played about 25 minutes or thereabouts, and you could see it. He's going to be a superstar for Chelsea. I'm not even kidding. Seriously, you guys, I look forward to watching him in the league, because I'm so happy that currently a lot of clubs in the Premier League already have very decent players that you would like to watch. Now, let's move over to the game of the day. Not just game of the day, but game of the game week. Talking about the game between Manchester United and Arsenal. Some people will say that it was a boring game. I don't care. It wasn't boring to me. Yes, maybe the goals you expected to come. You were expecting a high-scoring encounter, but that high-scoring encounter didn't come today. In fact, the only goal that was scored is sadly due to a goalkeeping error. Yes, that's it. If you saw what I saw, you will notice that the Manchester goalkeeper, he had no business letting that ball fly into his net. Like, when he made that save from a set piece that was taken from Arsenal, I thought goalkeepers trained their hands to be stronger. Like, when he gave a push to the ball, he would have pushed it harder. But he failed to do that, and that was how they considered that goal. And that goal ended up being the only goal of the game. Nonetheless, the game is actually an interesting one to see. it's quite interesting to see the new signings get into the squad. On the side of Arsenal, Gyökeres didn't really perform as much as you would expect him to perform. But I think the reason for that is because Arsenal are already used to playing without a proper number 9, like without a proper finisher like Gyökeres. So Arsenal we are trying to create chances from the wings, from the right wing and from the left wing. They tried to create a couple of chances, tried to create something from that angle, but the final ball that is supposed to get to the striker was not getting to him. And that is exactly why I think he struggled in that first half of the game. I know that people were already making jest of him. People were already laughing at him, saying 001 or 007, something like that. You know the trend. People are going to make caricature of him. The hate watchers are also hate watching. But this is still his very first game. And he did not even play the 90 minutes. As for Sesko, he got his moment in the second half of the game. I believe he played for like maybe 30 minutes. And despite the fact that he did not also score, you could see some positives in his game. He was able to link up with the squad. And if you look at the way Arsenal played and the way Manchester United play, Manchester made a lot more effort towards getting the ball across to the striker and also getting the striker involved with what they were trying to achieve. Of course, by the end of the day, the end product was not there. I know that going into this game, a lot of people were watching to see how Gyökeres would perform and also to see how Sesko would perform. And there is already a comparison between the two. It is very normal. Remember when there was that type of comparison between Haaland and Nunes? It ended up not being so much of a comparison because Haaland is just heights above Nunes. But at this very moment, for this particular game, that comparison also came up. But let's not forget the other people that also made their debuts today. Zubimendi played his first competitive game for Arsenal. On the side of Man U, we also have the likes of Mbeumo, Cunha. And by the end of the day, Arsenal got the win on this one and bagged the 3 points. Now, everybody can now go back to the drawing board and start looking at what they need to do differently to improve themselves for the season ahead. But one thing I must say now is that, yes, last season, Manchester United was a laughingstock. But this season is surely going to be different because I don't see them finishing 15th or anywhere around there. So before I wrap this up, there are two things that we need to talk about, two observations from this particular game between Man United and Arsenal. The first one is about the goalkeeping department of Manchester United. You could see that in today's game, Onana was not even there for it. Like, he was not in the starting lineup. They had someone else in goal, and that someone else also committed a goalkeeping error that led to the only goal they considered. At this very moment, the 3 points is gone. There is no going back from that. But are they going to do something different? I know that at some point, I was even thinking they would go and sign Donnarumma. But at this very moment, it seems like there is already an agreement between Donnarumma and Manchester City. So that ship have already sailed. But it would be interesting to see if Man United would make effort towards signing someone in that goalkeeping department as soon as possible. Look at this one. Well, the other piece of the observation is that the set piece involvement of Arsenal. We saw it last season. Last season, Arsenal was able to create a lot of attacking threats through their set piece. In today's game, we could see it. That goal they scored today came from a set piece. So it is actually interesting to see them get something out of a game through a set piece. And we know we saw a couple of that last season. But let's see how it's going to work out this new season. So that's it on this one. The first game week has been an interesting one to watch. I believe there is still a game tomorrow on Monday. Everton and one other team is playing. And then we look forward to what comes next. So this is it. This is where we are wrapping it up for today. Thanks for being here. Connect to the channel, like and subscribe.